This video is for Ron DeSantis, and it's not going to be like one of my usual videos with all the fancy edits and post-production. I might throw a clip or a picture or two in there, but this is just me speaking with you, Ron DeSantis, man to man. Ron, you and Casey have 3 children, and I imagine you love them with all of your hearts. Now, I want you to think back to when they were born. Imagine if shortly after they were born, you could just tell that something was wrong with their health. But every time you take them to the doctor, they tell you that everything was okay, there was nothing to worry about, and you two were just being overly concerned. But then one day, one of your kids develops a strange bruise, so you take them to the ER. And soon after you bring them in, you are both charged with abuse, your parental rights are terminated on the spot, and all 3 of your kids are taken from you right then and there. Now, of course, you know that neither you nor Casey harmed a single hair on any of your kids' heads. So you immediately get in touch with medical experts to figure out what caused the injuries that the doctors are claiming were caused by abuse. And those experts find out exactly what's going on. They diagnose your kids with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and metabolic bone disease. They say that these conditions fully explain all of your kids' injuries and that there is zero evidence of abuse. Not only that, but as they're reviewing the case, they discovered that ER doctor who accused you of abuse, the so-called child abuse pediatrician, actually violated standards of care. So now you've got some relief. Thank God. You've got the evidence that there was no abuse, and now all you have to do is go to DCF and the family court judge and get this whole misunderstanding put to bed so you can get your kids back, right? Well, when you get to court, the family court judge refuses to allow most of that medical expert opinion and diagnosis to even be entered into evidence. Instead, that judge takes the testimony of that ER doctor who violated standards of care and wasn't even certified in child protection. And at that point, she didn't even work for the hospital anymore. That's whose word the judge takes, not the actual medical experts who diagnosed your kids with health conditions that need treatment. Based on that, DCF moves to take your kids for good, for them to eventually be placed for adoption, and for you to never see them again. And the judge approves it. Oh, and DCF absolutely knows that your kids have these conditions because initially they refused to treat them, and they kept getting worse. Then they finally did allow them to get the treatment they needed, and lo and behold, they got better and stabilized. So everyone is on the same page here. Your kids have medical conditions that fully explain their injuries, and they improve and stabilize with treatment. There is no actual evidence of abuse whatsoever, and yet they're still accusing you of abuse and actively seeking to take your kids from you forever. So you go to the Florida Supreme Court, who refuses to even look at your case. They don't even measure the facts of the case. They simply refuse to take jurisdiction and don't even hear it. So you file appeal after appeal, and the whole time you feel like you're in bizarro world. Everyone recognizes that your kids have Ehlers-Danlos and metabolic bone disease. No one disputes that these can cause the very injuries that your kids have, and medical experts believe that there is zero evidence for abuse. But every appeal is denied, again, without even looking at the evidence, and you only have one hope left: the governor of Florida, who can stop this nonsense with the stroke of a pen and let you have your kids back. Well, Ron, you are the governor of Florida, and there is a family, Michael and Tasha Patterson and their children, the Patterson family, who is going through exactly this. I am asking you personally, a loving father of 3, to look into their case. And don't just take my word for it. Look at it for yourself. You'll see that there is zero evidence for abuse. You'll see that the Patterson twins have documented conditions that explain their injuries. You'll see that they continued to get more injured under DCF care until they finally got treatment and stabilized, which further proves that the injuries were caused by illness. And you'll see that this family, your constituents, were failed and mistreated by just about every single person in a position of authority over them. That cycle of failure and mistreatment can and needs to end with you. Ron, we have mutual friends and acquaintances who assure me that you are a fair man who desires justice, and that you would never knowingly let an innocent family be torn apart on your watch. I pray that that's true. I pray that God opens your heart to look at this case and gives you the discernment and strength to do the right thing. Put this case to bed and let the Patterson kids go home to Michael and Tasha Patterson. If you or your staff have any questions, anything at all, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I am happy to help in any way that I can. Thank you for considering this, and I pray that God blesses you and your family.